Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be doing a quick draft analysis for OG versus Tundra. The reason why I want to take a quick look at this match in particular was it only lasted for 17 minutes. OG tapped out, the major winners tapped out in 17 minutes. That's quite the feat. So really, like, what I want to look at here is when do they select these heroes, in what order. I'm also doing some personal draft prep for myself. I'm currently drafting for my team, so I'm just doing this by myself anyway. I'm like, might as well put it on my second channel, and yeah, hopefully you guys take some things out of this. I remember back in the day, I used to love, like, my favorite YouTube videos that existed on Dota were PPD's draft analysis. My favorite videos by far. Those were my favorite, and yeah, hopefully I can give a little bit of insight. I'm not TI5 PPD, but yeah, either way, let's take a look. So in terms of the bans, we do see a Beastmaster come out. From Tundra, we see the Viper. Timber. Now, what's interesting about Tundra here is they don't ban Razor. So the most common bans, as far as I'm concerned, against OG was Timber Razor. They banned Timber Viper. They end up picking the Razor. Do they first pick it? That's the question. The Beastmaster gets banned out. Just one of the most popular heroes right now. Seems to just be dominating, frankly. This hero is owning. I even think it's honestly a good mid laner. So, huge fan of Beastmaster. This hero really doesn't lose very many lanes, and it honestly provides every team comp with what they need. So we see the Mercy ban come out from OG, which is just another really strong hero. Ever since it got released into Captain's Mode, I think most teams are just banning it out first phase, especially if they don't have first pick. And do they pick the Razor here? That's the question. They do. They literally first pick Razor. And the response to Razor is Enigma Void Spirit. Now, okay, damn, that is some really fast drafting. So I think the main reason why OG goes for this is Enigma is definitely good against Razor. Generally, there is one downside, which I'll get into, but Enigma's good against Razor because you can't kill the Eidolons. They have so much magic resist where the Plasma Field does no damage. The right click from Eidolons is good against ranged heroes early on into the game. Like, specifically, it's just good against ranged heroes because they don't have the built-in Stout Shield. So Enigma is a very sensible counter pick to Razor. It makes a ton of sense. It's a comfort pick for OG. If I was drafting for them, I would draft Enigma as well. I absolutely would. The Void Spirit, I guess this is a flex for them. They played it on a Mar in game 1. They lost that game as well. I think they did like a very similar opening, if not the same, on a Mar. And he played this as their 4. It was really weird. This Void Spirit ends up going mid this game. I think it was just for matchup purposes. But we see the Enigma come out. Very sensible pick. The IO comes out. This is just a Razor classic. Honestly, it's such a good combo. It's such a good combo. Everything Razor lacks, IO provides. Razor has to rush BKB, which limits his attack speed. IO provides attack speed. Razor has no innate sustain. That's a big issue. Razor can have some wave clear issues. IO helps with that, just obviously by following him around. So I honestly think this combination of heroes is incredibly good. Like, I think Razor IO will be good for a long time. Like, I think this is something teams will consider for a long time. Any team that likes playing IO. Even though IO just got nerfed very, very hard. IO got one of the hardest nerfs of the patch, losing 25 movement speed at level 1 on overcharge, and yet teams are still going to pick it because this hero, frankly, is just kind of insane. In terms of bans, let's actually slow it down a little bit. We see a Zeus ban come out. Tundra's been playing a ton of mid-Zeus. I love mid-Zeus as well. It's a counter pick to the Void Spirit. It's pretty good against Enigma because you can cancel his blink and stay far away. So it's pretty nice against both these heroes. I think it's mostly just like kind of a lane counter to Void Spirit, funny enough. I wouldn't say it dumpsters him, but it does do well, which is hilarious. But you see the Morphling Bloodseeker bans come out from Tundra. I guess I understand why they banned Viper, because they're like, okay, if we're going to ban Viper and pick Razor, we don't want them to have Viper, because then if Razor loses his lane, things can get kind of ugly for Razor. Razor generally needs to have a good lane, which is why you pick it with IO. We see the Morphling and the Bloodseeker come out. Rupture is a hard counter to Razor. I think the Morphling one is literally just because you link the Razor back, and that's terrible for him, and you can waveform away from the link, and you're a Scotty buyer. So I could see why that matchup is not very good for a Razor. That definitely seems quite logical. What is their last ban going to be? Something like Terrorblade, maybe? What would the third ban be? I'm curious. Terrorblade, Medusa. Nah, Medusa's not so bad, because you can link him. What are they going to ban here? Furion? TB. Let's go. Your boy. You know how it is. I know what these. All right, I got it. I got this on lock. All right, so we see the Cuddle ban come out from OG. I guess this is specifically just another 9 ban. I think they're just banning mid heroes here. It seems like they're banning Void Spirit. Well, I wouldn't say Cuddle's a Void Spirit counter. That's not the case. I actually think Void Spirit is good against Cuddle. We see a Doom ban come out. So it seems like they're just kind of banning what they think is good, to be frank. It's the high tempo magic damage heroes. So maybe that's something. I mean, they picked Jakiro, which doesn't really scream like you need to ban Zeus, Cuddle, Doom. You know, I can't say I took that out of that. But the reason why you pick Jakiro here is, you know, you don't have the next 2 picks. You can get countered twice, so you don't want to pick a core that can get Giga countered. They go for the Jakiro. It's a bit of a weird pick, I will admit. I think it's just their magic damage follow-up. A lot of teams, I feel like they could consider something like AA here, only because it's against this IO. I know it's a very unmeta hero, but I don't know. I would have kind of liked to see it. Jakiro does kind of fill this cool gap where it's like a low cooldown follow-up to Void Spirit nukes, which is really convenient. Anytime you play something like Void Spirit or Storm, it's really, really nice to have a position 4 that can follow up on the damage. So if you're playing like Tiny Mid or Void Spirit or Storm or Ember, early game you usually can't really kill people alone. You don't do enough damage. Usually you leave most targets at around a 4th or a 3rd HP. So just with a little bit of extra follow-up, something like the Macropyre is going to seal the deal. So I respect the Jakiro pick. They seemingly think the hero is very good. I don't really think it's particularly good against Razor. It's fine early game, but Razor is a BKB rusher, which is a hard counter to a hero like Jakiro that doesn't have a reliable stun. So the only thing about, you know, OG's draft is they already have the Enigma to deal with the BKB timing. Big fan of the Lycan pick here. Nothing else to say. I mean, it might seem suspect. It's like, why would you pick Lycan into Jakiro? It's AoE attack speed slow, AoE stun. The thing is, you can easily dodge the AoE stun. Right? You can easily dodge AoE stun. You can kind of dodge Dual Breath. You know, you can kind of dodge Dual Breath. If you see it coming, you can sidestep it. Even if you get hit by it, it doesn't slow your movement speed when you're ultied. So you kind of just chunk through this Jakiro. Jakiro doesn't really pressure Lycan hard in lane from what I've seen. The lane is fine. And it also runs over Enigma. So I think the general key to countering Enigma is taking advantage of the fact that the hero is quite weak early on and has a big cooldown. So when you play these high-tempo drafts like Tundra has here, very limited cooldowns. Yeah, there is Shapeshift, but that's like a very high-tempo, very, very high-tempo hero. And a Vision hero that helps you play high-tempo, right? Because you can kind of like make more dangerous moves when you can see ahead of yourself. I just love this pick. So I think it's pretty good against Void Spirit as well. I just feel like Void Spirit he has a hard time controlling Lycan because of all the units. So I love this. I think this fits their draft perfectly. You might be like, oh, but they lack stun. Yeah, but that's not really the point of this draft. It's more about having these like really fast cores, right? Like their movement speed is so fast that you don't really have to stun people, if that makes sense. You just kind of run at people. I think they end up picking a Clock as their last pick for Tundra. I believe they go Monkey here on OG, which, you know, it makes sense. It's the counter to Lycan in lane. I don't think it really beat Lycan in lane, though, so that's a bit of a yikes. It's generally the counter to Lycan in lane. It's a great lane with Jakiro. Anytime you have, like, you want to pick Monkey King, you usually want a hero like CM or Jakiro that can, like, slow and stun. So it's a perfect lane. You know, they have good ways of keeping people in Monkey ult, so it's a good Monkey ult game. I wouldn't say Monkey's necessarily great against Razor. That matchup seems... It's okay. I mean, you have a way to kill the Razor through BKB, right? The Monkey King ring plus Black Hole. So you have a way to kill the Razor, which is nice. So I think it's a very reasonable Monkey King pick. I don't think it's anything special. I don't think it just insta-wins the game. But it's like, it's a very common thing that pro teams are doing right now where if the enemy team picks like Lycan or Underlord or whatever, Centaur, you pick Monkey King. You know you're going to have a good lane. You have a scaling carry that's just like generally good. So it's an easy pick. It's a reliable pick. And yeah, it makes sense this game. They also lack control, which means you're going to be able to split push well and get your BKB off when you buy it. So it's a good Monkey King game. From bans, we see a Puck ban from Tundra. I like that because they lack control once again. So if there's this Puck running around terrorizing your game and you can't control them, the Puck's just going to kill your Rubik, kill your IO, kill your waves, delay the push. that's going to come out from Lycan. It's a really great puck game for those reasons. Low control, and it delays this death ball, potential death ball we'll see here. So I definitely think it is a good ban. From OG, we're going to see the Pango ban. So, yeah, they just know Tundra needs a tempo mid. It's very clear what Tundra needs in their last pick. For the most part, they need a stunner. They need a high-tempo stunner that runs around the map, enables the Lycan, enables the Razor. They have 2 hyper cores in the side lanes, 2 heroes that really want to take up a lot of space. You do not want your mid laner to be another space taker at a high level like this, generally. There's exceptions to this, but generally, most teams, what they'll do when they have like this Lycan Razor is they're going to look to pick something like, oh, well, I'm going to say Clockwork because that's what they pick, but something like Clockwork. But you'll see Tusk, you'll see a Max Slight, Max Chains Ember Spirit, you'll see a Storm Spirit, which sounds weird because like Storm can take space, but Storm can play very high tempo. Like good Storms will just jungle near their teammates, and that lets them gank. They'll give up a bit of farm priority to be constantly near their team, and it's really powerful. But yeah, they pick Clockwork here, which is, I mean, there's nothing else to say besides bizarre, right? I can't say I see why it's a good Clockwork game. I guess, I don't know. They buffed the hero. It kills creep waves now. That's good. Other than that, I mean, I guess it's high tempo. It can solo kill Jakiro. It's good against Monkey King because you can scout him in trees. It cancels Monkey King ult when he's trying to channel it. It's like fine against Void Spirit. I guess the Q prevent... You could probably Astral Step even when affected by Q, but I don't think you can Dissimulate. It's a weird pick. I don't know how this ended up working out as well as it did, but it did. They go for the Mars last year. Very anti this hero. I understand why they pick it. It's like... You want like an AoE teamfight ability early game, and it's like one of Amar's best heroes. It makes sense. It's good against Razor in lane because you can push him away when he links you, so you can kind of just farm, usually. It's good against Lycan units, right? It's good against Lycan because he can't ulti away. If you trap either of these supports, you can kill them. I wouldn't say it's good against Clockwork. I feel like Clockwork's pretty good against Mars because if you trap him in the cogs, you do a lot of magical damage, which counters Mars early game. So it's a very sensible pick from OG, but I don't like Mars very much as a hero. I'm actually quite anti-Mars. I'm just not a huge fan of this hero. I think it still fulfills a very clear role in the game where it just, throws down this massive arena in teamfights, and it's a really good laner, very reliable laner. I don't know. I just see this hero lose a lot. I'm not a fan of Mars. I don't like playing it anymore. They've nerfed it, and I already felt like the hero wasn't necessarily that OP. It was getting picked a ton, but I don't even think, like, in the major, I think its win rate was like 42%, which, not so good. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more draft analysis like this one in the future, you can let me know. I love making these. It's, like, honestly my favorite thing to do. Drafting is, like, so fascinating to me in Dota. It's like there's so many layers, there's so many things that you're going to miss. Even when I'm doing these analysis, I'm sure there's plenty of things that they're talking about that I'm missing. I mean, for instance, the Void Spirit in Game 1 was like a flex, so clearly they flex it, which is kind of wild, but it was a flex. And Tundra sort of has to keep that into consideration when picking their heroes. Seems like they kind of disregarded it this game, to be honest, because they just picked like what they would usually pick, which is Razor IO. Don't think they're really switching it up, but either way, at the end of the day, very impressed from Tundra's performance. I might do an analysis of that over on gameleap, so you can check that out on the website. And, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!